Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day, October 27, 2021, Wednesday. Well, I'm just trying to share with you aspects of quality and safety. On this talk, I'm not able to see time here. Well, no problem. It's around 3:44 morning time, and well, let's see how far can we go on this. Some change in format of this Facebook. Time is not visible. I think. Yeah, I think it can see it. I can see now. I'm not able to see time here. I don't know where it is. It's missing somewhere. It used to be very good before. The HS format is grey, completely grey. I'm not able to see time. Why time is moving? How much long video has been? I don't know what they're doing. Sleeping people, well. Okay, friends, I continue with this, and I'm sorry for delay because I could not get. It's completely grey on the left side of this Facebook, which is live producer is given. I don't know how many minutes have passed. This what to do? It's their problem. I don't know. Anyway, now this is my certificate you have seen. All time I show you this. It's the other one. This International Professional Engineer Certificate, and this is about Chartered Engineer Certificate, and here it is, other one. Now, quality for me is very integrated issue. It's very much integrated issue with work, with materials, with everything, with system. It may be system, it may be work, it may be material, it may be performance, it may be whatever. पौने 4 हो चुके पौने 4 हो चुके We have to move together with this, and as I say always, this quality is important. That's what I say. Quality is important every time. Quality safety. It's very important point, and I was discussing about this on this format. Now I'll put up this. In fact, I'll put up this here, and I think it's better to put up the certificates now. Then no, not let's see. Before that I was somewhere here. Normative references, and it is now. We had gone through last one, which is over. Now this normative references we're going to talk of. What's normative references? Details of references, standards, publications, whatever standards are there, standards in work, standards in code, standards in practical activity, and you can say it is good practice and whatever you can say. Now, say disciplines involved may be civil, RCC, structural, steel work, and PSC, security system, firefighting, whatever it is. Whatever disciplines are there, all disciplines, international, national sports, etc. All descriptions related to international institutions about project engineering and all all descriptions related to process technology, all applicable formulas and technology, specifications linked to process and included with feed, and all processes, flow diagrams, vessel systems, related technologies, all testing procedures, all inspection procedures, all assumptions to be made, and degree of freedom allowable to design process. Now, if you go here, we contemplate on this, we find that because our topic is civil field engineering, life engineers and quality, AnnexSL, red, silver, SHE designs, construction, methods, contracts, organizations, communication, correspondences, and you can say coordination. These are major points that we have here with us. We have to worry about them rather than something else. I don't have good time on this. It's become an issue now. Why it's become an issue? I don't know what's the reason behind that is. Well, I can't help it. Now, question is how we handle these references. We handle them. If you want quality, we have to, because all references actually are requirements of quality system. These requirements of works, specifications. You can say there's a contract document, complete contract document, and contract form itself, which is number one document. Contract form on which scope of work is given, on which many informations are given about contract. We call them contract data. Contract, what is contract price, what is contract data, what are liquidated damages, what is the period of completion or time of completion or duration of contract, and what are specific conditions. You can say performance guarantee, money, and insurance, etc. Third party insurance, other insurances. It gives something which all are legally binding on both parties to contract, and that party's owner and contractor. This is number one document. Then we go further behind this, and this also includes whatever appointment letter is issued before this contract is executed. We call contract execution. That's a very important part. We have to understand what is contract execution and what's appointment letter. In fact, when you award something, it's called award letter or appointment letter. Award in the sense that it's a winning competition. You got this because you got price and technical capability. Price is competitive and technical capacity you are having is proven one. Because owner is satisfied with your technical capability and your price is competitive, that combination of this reason, that's called approval of technical submission subject to performance and mandate on your price, both work together, and this is called complete bid. Technical plus commercial, which is called complete bid or bid. This bid, when it has been awarded, it converts itself to contract. Bid is not a contract, but a submission for contract. When bid is submitted, this means submitting party is ready to work according to bid requirement. Whatever requirements are there, but that should be realistic one. You cannot say something out of scope. Whatever scope has been included in those documents for this bid and later tender should be covered in contract. This should be covered in contract according to descriptions given on various other documents. So we can say in its authority, in its enforcement, award letter plus executed contract equal to contract. Means contract In reality, contract document that mandates that you have agreed for complete work supported by all attachments which are which can be called space particular conditions followed by general conditions, and then you can say project specifications and general specifications, and then further you can go down to drawings, standard drawings, other drawings, schematic drawings, and then can go down further to international and national codes. Likewise, BOQ, bill of quantity, if it is applicable. So it's not mandatory document. It's just guide document. You have to understand this fact, what we say, what we do. So these are normative references, you can say, where written what are norms. This may include disciplines of work, disciplines of engineering, or whatever is included in contract from work point of view and from control point of view, both work point of view and control point of view, because work is important and its controls are important. Both are important, without which we cannot move with. Both are very important. So we have to understand now there may be disciplines like civil, in which RCC, structural steel, structures mechanical also, security systems like SCADA, supervisory control and data acquisition. Then it is a firefighting system based on FM200 or energy and gas or something else. Then electrical, electronics, mechanical, HVAC pumps, etc. All disciplines, all disciplines, international, national codes, etc. All descriptions, etc. So we can say a long chain. All disciplines, international, national codes, all descriptions related to international institutions about project engineering. Actually, this is called project engineering because it's based on project design for project execution. All descriptions related to process technology, all applicable formulas and technological specifications in line to process and included within field. There may be many process diagrams depending on which discipline it is. Chemical discipline, or you can say whatever else. In oil field, there are all disciplines involved, and it's process diagrams for that. Not one, not too many. Then we can say vessels, structures, related technologies. Every vessel is patented one, designed one, and company or vendor supplies it has got certain designs and manufacturing. So vessels, structures, related technologies are very significant, and whatever tests are done, wherever are done, that is procedures we have to define. That's also reference. And you can say all testing procedures it is, and all inspection procedures. Inspection procedures must be defined quality system. All must be there as part of job. Reference. Once given, once approved by system, by authorities, it should work. And all assumptions to be made and degree of freedom allowable to design process. Now, it's not simple. These points that are given to you, these are only indicative few points. References are unlimited. References are those which are created also for purpose of doing job, for purpose of implementation. Those are very important one. As I said, when we count on we count on contract first document, award plus contract execution. Actually, it looks that it is a legal document, of course. In fact, all documents are legal. All contract documents are legal. Nothing is illegal there. Because if something is illegal, it cannot be contracted. And even if it is contracted, it is void in fact. If it's against law, if it's against public interest, we can say requirement, it's not acceptable, it's not admitted by law. And law means something that is legal, that is enforceable by law itself. If we cannot enforce some requirement, some provision, or goes against law, it opposes law, it's not public policy law, it cannot be called a part of contract even though it has been included. It doesn't have power to stay. So we have to understand these points clearly. Contract clearly says, contract law in our country clearly says provisions that are applicable, that are enforceable, can only be included, can only be considered as part of contract. And there may be 10 provisions, 100 provisions, 500 provisions. It doesn't matter. It's not only contract conditions that are provisions. We have to understand provisions. What is provision? I've seen some people do not understand that. Provision, what does it mean? Provision. Provision, P-R-O, means something that is in favor of viewing. We can see something. If we can view something using mind, it's not just eyes that view something and see. If we use our mind and see something, it's called provision. Something when comes into its action, that is admissible, or that is requirement. It's not only admissible, it must be requirement as well. And when it's a requirement, it's like a mandate on this particular charter. And when I say charter, this means a document which has been agreed or which has been given or written by someone for someone. You can say some rights are given by one party to other party, first party to second party, or by second party to first party. It's a kind of legal privilege agreement, legal rights agreement. When we sign a contract, when we execute a contract document, contract form, it tells that party 1 and party 2 have agreed for certain terms and conditions for this job. And because one has one power, other has another power, somebody has to do work for someone else, and someone else has to pay to someone else. So these provisions, which we call defined as contract, means work is defined, and in lieu of work, consideration in form of payment or else is defined with various terms and conditions of all documents, all provisionary mandate. And this is called, a contract, or you can say contract agreement, or you can say charter. One party charters others, other charters others. Both have their reciprocal rights, both have reciprocal responsibilities, both have reciprocal obligations, and that's what actually this is major reference. If somebody wants first reference on a project, it is contract of that project. It is contract, it's not forever. This contract is valid only for contract duration, and that contract duration has also a definition. You cannot take your own way. It defines somewhere else. We have date of start of a contract and we have a date of completion of that contract. Gap between date of start and date of completion is called contract duration. And that contract duration is its time for which contract enforcement is ready, is applicable. Contract enforcement is possible. And that period of contract duration, when it is over, after contract is performed, it's over, then in no way you can say this contract, though it's over, but it's still powerful for so many issues, for warranties, for guarantees, or for whatever else condition that apply or that has got an impact post completion of that project. And we say when project has been completed, still it's a reference, but then that project designation is over. You cannot say, yes, we can say this project was done. We cannot say this project still is project. At that time, project is over. It stands different title. Maybe it's being used, it's being operated, it's being occupied, it's occupied, whatever you say, subject to various other conditions. Whatever, for example, we can say this project has structures. That structure still works. All conditions of structure work, and we cannot say that contractor has got no responsibility on this. Contractor has total responsibility on that one. Even you can say that still contractor is responsible for completeness of that project, and that is main point we have to consider until, because such structures work for decades, not for 1 day or 2 days. But that's very important point we have to understand. If you say no, it's only for 1 year, 2 years, well, I think then we cannot say that civil contract. It is something different. We have to be very careful about this issue, because this difference is very important to understand. This difference is very important to understand for contracts. Then we come on to terms and definitions. We can say terms and definitions, clause 3, and that is there can be whatever particular specific standard. We can say detailed terms and definitions applicable to particular specific standard in addition to format related terms and conditions. And these may be internal, external, or whatever agencies that there are provisions to apply on this. We can say something comes from authorities, government can say statutes, applicable laws which are directly applicable as well as indirectly applicable. This can be national laws, this can be international laws. Then it can be project description, its leadership and its management organization, requirements, technical and managerial, and project capacity in long and short run in terms of production and performance. You can say project handling, I should say, which we call management actually, how to handle successfully that project organization, handling or management at various stages from inception to its operation, and then required maintenance, which is always permanent. But in contract, whatever we deal with, it's only for limited period till response goes to contractor. Later on, it's owner who has to take care of its maintenance, its operations, and you can say contracts organization, contracts handling, applicable for designs and for executions as well. It's works for prime contractor and its relations company design contractor and its relations with company prime contractor. Now, what are nominated contractors? What are execution contractors? Sometimes we can define nominated contractors in different way. It's something, a specific item that owners through engineer has reserved for some specific purpose. And that's not definite. It may be required, it may not be required. Some amount can be placed in there which goes to that party which was maybe nominated by project administrator, that is engineer or owner's representative. They may be specifically define or appoint someone for which direction contractor is responsible to implement. Engineer may say, or owner may say, this person has to do this job, this party, this agency has to do this job, maybe for a specific purpose, not mandatory. Then you can say execution contractors. Every contractor is execution contractor because contract is being executed, implemented, prosecuted. Then you can say vessels, manufacturing vendors, because we procure materials from them. There may be some items there which require something, which requires some mandate, some specifications applicable there, which requires some control. Then you can say site protection and security. Of course, protection of site and its look after to secure it and maintaining site tidiness. Site tidiness is very important safety factor. It's very important safety, health and environment requirement. Site protection is a must. Site security is a must. Site tied means you have to keep site to a level of its appearance that doesn't detract people from safety. It's a word, very simple word, that we can't say that we keep it clean like our home floor, but it should be well organized. Site should be clear, easily accessible. It should be well circulated. Circulation not be problem. And people enjoy working there with complete safety. There should be complete traffic control. Trucks, vehicles, equipment, whatever reach access to site should reach satisfactorily safely, and all of the controls required for that must be made in a way that these are implemented safely from each and every point of view. And we say contract between company and prime contractor. Company here, as I explained before also, company means promoter here, like oil operator who operates that facility from each and every obligation, each and every accountability, responsibility, liability. That you may call it company. Generally it's called company, though for me it's like honor. There may be many names you can say. For example, Qatar Petroleum, Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, Parouj, and likewise, in every country some company exists. They name it company in different terms. Though in building works we don't call it company, but in oil, generally contractually we call them company. Actually they are owners of government, or you can say like government is owner, they are like government for that project. So you may say that can be called a company to government or independent promoter. So you may say it's a client. In fact, client is company. That client may be having different agreement with state or with government, but we can start, we consider that organization by whatever name, its company. One is company, and on EPC, when you talk of EPC, which is engineering, procurement, construction, contract, where we can say party one, that is party one is that owner or that company, and to whomever this job goes, that party two is formally named as EPC contractor here in this case. So one is company, other one is contractor, EPC contractor. So that's what I'm saying, that you may call prime contractor, main contractor, whatever you can call. If it is red one, it's red only construction, you can call it contractor. And if it's silver, if it's EPC, it's called EPC contractor. So it's a contact between company and EPC contractor on specifically designed contract conditions. These contract conditions are well designed. It's not like structural design, but it's impact design. How we want to operate law? It should be enforceable. We should be recognized. We should not be anti-recognition, and that cannot be unnatural. We have to design a way. We have to see a way how these conditions can be formed in terms of clauses, for which we can extract support of standard formats, namely standard formats from FIDIC or standard format from NEC, this Navy Engineering Contract. Previously it was something else, ICE contract, and various kinds of normative contracts are available. FIDIC has given us something that's also great. Yes, in 20 clauses, FIDIC has covered generally all clauses, all requirements of conditions of contract. It's not extraordinary, you cannot say, but it's a kind of systematic sequence of contract conditions. One by one we go and we see how it does in terms of all required parties, in terms of owner, promoter, or regulator, operator, contractor, vendors, other vendors, workers, and machines. You can say all whatever would be required on project. It should cover, these conditions should cover generally each and every point of view, like a speaking document. We cannot take it just for granted. If I choose it, I opt for this. No, it's not question of opting. It's question of fulfilling a real requirement that should help run that project. If we cannot even blankly copy and paste as practice has become nowadays, that doesn't work on contract. When you do some condition, you design some condition, you have to think in mind, you have to keep in mind how does it operate, how can this condition work, shall it go against the interests of both parties, or it would work in support of work. You have to be explicitly clear about that, because our aim, our goal is to deliver job, deliver contract requirements. That is our objective on whatever contract, construction or APC, or designs, or whatever else. That is main objective, which cannot be stirred, which cannot be isolated, which cannot be forgiven, which cannot be excluded. So we can say to what degree of extension we can procure in FIDIC standard conditions that may be from Red Book or from Silver could be included in our contract. We have to understand that requirement. Just putting conditions for sake of conditions, it doesn't mean anything. If I blindly copy and paste FIDIC conditions onto my contract, it won't serve my purpose, because we have to understand first what we are going to do. Sometimes contract is very small. You can say work is very small. You cannot go for every work on contract, because it's also contract, but contract documents itself is extensive, voluminous, and its cost that if just for anything you start that, for whatever scope you start that, well, I think this doesn't serve purpose. Contract FIDIC document is very long to an extent its conditions are concerned. There's only 20 or 21 conditions, and 21st conditions for disputes resolution, which we can take separately on contract. It cannot be called a permanent integrated part of contract, because it does exist even after contract is terminated or suspended or rescinded. Dispute resolution still exists. So this condition cannot be isolated in the case of for good. So what do you say? FIDIC, if you want to include on our contract, you should not do it blindly. We have to go through conditions. Whether are we in a condition to use all these FIDIC statements of conditions, or we can just use our own, or we can modify them to suit our particular requirement. It's very difficult job, because not because we do not know that. It's because of one part, that it's English part, it's English based legal part. It's like, conditions that can be enforced or can be understood, and there may be some ambiguity in those. That ambiguity we have to find and check it. It's called self-guide, to keep everything in sequence on project and give conditions for that. So which one we have to decide ourselves, whether it is FIDIC Red or FIDIC Silver, or it is NEC one that we have to adopt. It depends on owner as well as on engineer or representative, owner's representative. Contract documents related to prime contract. And there's the levies of contract liquidated damages due to the late delivery, or due to defective works or defective performance. This clause is also a very hammering one when we talk of this condition. It's hammering in the sense that, particularly on civil projects, though we call civil, but that's actually project, I have seen that a cap is written, a cap is given on such damages charges. You can say 10% maximum limit. Maybe in mechanical cases it could be 15, as I got information from. 15% capping. This capping is necessary because you cannot go on continuously damage someone else. Damage is compensation for yourself. When you say damages means I have lost something because I could not get job delivered in time. We decided some time on contract, but contractor fails to deliver that in time, or there are reasons contractor to support claim that you have to extend this one to by so many days more, due to whatever reasons are there. If those reasons are justified, if those reasons are founded well in contract term, okay, this is reason that you could not do this job, so I your claim is right, your claim is justified, and it was beyond your control, so we can give you some time for this reason. But that's the logical reason. Same way, you can say liquid damages are related to correspondingly. We say on contracts per day, if you don't do this job per day, you have to pay this much for loss of time. And that's, we can say, per day it counts, and you can deduct that amount from contract valuation every time, provided it's provisional now, it's not confirmed. Maybe in future contractor recovers lost time by mobilization of additional resources. In that case, ultimately it is its final date, its final delivery, and if there exists delay in intermediate times, time between project start and project completion, this delay on that, and you count that one, while final delivery is made in time. All those deliveries do not mean anything except correspondence communication. So you have to say liquidated damage is a big loss, and in fact this is worrisome because longer delays on projects means problem for everybody, for owner's representative, for engineering team, design team, supervision team. It costs heavily on them because it's they who are responsible, they not take care, and sleeping is not good in profession of engineering. Even you are tired, but you have to do that. These are some points you can say. Levies of contract liquidated damages due to delayed deliveries or due to defective works or defective performance. Every right exists with owner or with representative that you can stop payment if work is not repaired well, was not done well. And of course there is a cap. If you have accepted cap, you can't deliver. You can say you can't deliver it at the right time because second party has been lazy. This point we have to understand explicitly. This is a reference I'm just talking of. This LD system is very complicated but very powerful. If my contractor does not support me, such time is concerned, and it's a lesson I can teach them through my own way. Whatever I have to value time. This time cannot run away. If you value it, if you don't value it, it shall certainly run away. But it doesn't stop. You have to use that time. So you can say levies of penalties or damages during failure in life cycle of plant's facility performance, which could lead to shutdown of project process partly fully. Well, this is something very, very difficult. On one end we apply LDs, liquidated damages, only for during concern. But it can be different way also. It's a plant work. We agreed for some efficiency of performance. But we say it will perform, and there happens problem and shutdown is required, shutdown of plant's process. So it can cause damages to that party as well. It must be given condition that due to contractor's ignorance or inappropriate work, if something happens, who is going to be responsible? Points are important. There should be provisions of that. What are legal liabilities between company and EAPC or else? can say in case of plants fire leading to something, what happens? A kind of some, you can say people die due to whatever reason, what happens? So you can say heavy losses are incurred. Then of course if you don't stick, don't settle there itself, which can be settled easily, if you don't have additional financial interest, you should respect this contract. You should not create panic among people. Sometimes see, well, even after so many days of sickness, you can say. Same way, if you're pretty sick, you're sick from mentality, you're sick from something else. You have to think of international arbitration also. It's so required. But not jump directly to that one. If both parties agreed coolly, professionally, to chart out some alternative solution, in that case, arbitration should be kept off from our work. Work is for cooperation, and we can say relation between owner and contractor is like working relation it is. It's not blood relation. And those relations should be integrated very safely, and only then we can say, yes, we have done it. So we can see then there are so many such references. Here we can say company, owner's personal, engineer's personal, contractor's personal, workforce requirements, progress reports, memos. Memos means like communication for records and lots of actions, and memos to contractor, technical clarification, engineering clarification, contractual clarification, subcontractors, nominated contractor, site instruction, engineer's instruction, request for inspection, channel items, request for inspection, concrete pours. Likewise, non-compliance reports we call NCR, material approval request, drawing approval request, subcontracts approval request, temporary works, preparatory works, permanent works, construction method statements, standard working designs or details, quality introduction, quality system statements, quality organization statements, including quality checklists and quality inspection test plans. Safety organization document including safety induction, training, upkeep and surveillance on activities, fire prevention and suppression, administration matters related to project, camping where all management staff, working personnel would stay to project construction life cycle. These are certain requirements, certain activities connected to project. It's not I'm saying that. It's not because I say that. These are requirements. I could list them because of knowing or I got experience on that. You can start on experience also is a teacher and big teacher than your university formal teacher. It doesn't teach you theory, it teaches you practical. It teaches you reality. It teaches you how to handle others, how to learn, and learn at whatever is available. Whatever you do, all acts are learning. There may be repetition, doesn't matter. Every repetition gives something which did not exist before. or we could not note that, we could not notice that. So administration matters related to project camping, where all management staff, workers, personnel would stay during project construction life cycle. You know, holding them to a job with a given incentive of free residence, or else what can be given free. There could be supportive executive references. We're just talking of references which are in fact real one, which we cannot avoid, particularly on red and silver EPC or no EPC. All these do count. Without these, we cannot move to contract. So you know how to operate this. What should be first requirement? What should be first requirement for that one? That point also we have to clearly understand requirement, how we move, what is our way of moving, how can we move forward, how long can we go, how long can we not go. It depends on that. In fact, it is something, we cannot run away from that. So my dear friends, now we're talking of very specific talk here. There will be supporting executive references. These are, you can call them surveys, land surveys, bathymetric surveys. You may call them geotechnical surveys. You can call them something else. You may call battery limits as a division of various responsibilities, areas. You can call, we have to work on excavations, we have to work on soil testing, soil exploration, and of course required we have to do soil improvements. Then normal is blinding concrete. Then we have to apply concrete protection. Concrete protection, or you can say protection of concrete from available chemicals within soil. So it's called, concrete protection, or it may be called waterproofing, below or ground and above. And because it cost sensitive concrete, and also if you can say forward types, reinforcement fabrication, placement, precast, pre-stressed concrete, concrete class, reinforcement grade, structural steel, soil backfill, piping, all types, concrete blocks, walls, roofing, all involved types, plastering or rendering, floors, all types, including raised one, blast door, windows, and we also can see doors, windows, and kitchen, including messes, and then wet areas, of course. Likewise, you can say finishings, special items, performance, testing and commissioning, estimated quantities, and issued for information likewise. Issued for building permit, drawings, if relevant, generally on plant's area, buildings permit would not be required because it's different world. It is going to stay. Issue for construction drawings, revised designs, revised designs when equipment is finally agreed or decided, giving complete technical details. National annexes, nationally determined parameters, published documents, and all other necessary definitions. There is no limit, there is no, you can say, limit to explain them. This can be explained and we'll discuss. Now our view is about responsibility of documents. That's our view, how we can move with our approach in these documents. There's no one, no two, you can say all these are. This can be clubbed together to make something new. These documents that we are talking all come under quality system. There may be mandate on that. This document itself means there should be some strong examiner on company itself, and contractor must keep its role under such requirements. What is required is required. Yes, there may be some mandatory documents, there may be some prime documents, but for me, that documents which works for project safely and successfully is fine one. We cannot limit ourselves to either of them, some of them. We have to understand case by case. When buildings are involved, utilities are involved, infrastructure is involved, water supply is involved, offices are involved, of course places very we may say all these, whatever narrations we have given, without these we cannot implement whatever project we have. Implementation is a very big issue from quality viewpoint. Theory or paperwork we can do for our satisfaction. The paperwork is there, but that paperwork is not for me, it's for project. Same way everybody works for project, that's also a consideration. Procedure. Procedures are defined and can be defined with explanations so that we can say everything is clear. Every requirement is clear, is explicit, without any suspicion, without any, you can say, gruesome behavior of another person. We have to keep that fact in mind. We cannot keep that for granted. No, with these documents that we have to explain once and again. These documents are our system document. We have title already, quake or no quake. Every person cannot understand these requirements, but engineers can understand these requirements because they work in field. If just for small sickness, you go to doctor will charge you. Otherwise, we have to provide these documents to work in system, quality system, which we define as ISO 9001 2015 requirements. This document does not force you to do this, but system forces it. We have to establish that we are going to do work according to guidelines provided by the institution, International Institution for Reformers, can say, rather than saying safely. It's that system that we have to take care of. How we can take care of, that's important point. Project is small or big, it doesn't make a difference as far as project requirements are included. I still remember there were so many contracts from various departments which we dealt with, and we had to abide by them, and we had to abide by particularly our own contract. If I am EPC contractor, then we and our people, whoever they are, they must, you can say, understand contractualities. So far, major problem that I have noticed, and you can say plainly noticed in engineering world, that engineers think only for technical job. Engineers are very good in designs, indeed, maybe in quantification, maybe in something else that requires to be done. But I have noticed deficiency do exist while dealing with contracts. We start thinking, oh, this is not my job. We start thinking. I start thinking, oh, it's this contract. Advocate has to come into picture. But this is not practical. Contract is a part of engineering because it's a works contract. It's not travel contract, it's not insurance contract. It's contract for your work which you have to supervise or you have to do it yourself. Whatever it would be a case, it's contract engineering, where engineering input is required for all stages of contract. Means after bids, it's contract itself. Then there may be certain ceremonies or features which should barricade your mind. And a stage comes when recently happened, just because of his age, his concern. God knows. System that we talk of is very great. System actually is not a researchable system. It's based on what is happening around. And then say what's happening around. It's something very different. We say we have to constitute system we have to establish system. Yes, that's right, we have to establish system. And all these points that we refer to, it's all come under that system. There's no way you can avoid that. System is to be fulfilled. system has to be fulfilled. Whatever guidelines are there, these are required to be applied from each stage of work. If material is not approved, its contents are not approved, everything can do it. I think even if you take tea at 3 or 4 o'clock, at home also you have to take care. See. Which documents are necessary, which documents are not necessary. But if you use them, if you refer to them, if you rely upon them, then this become mandatory documents. Or you have to prove with your thoughts, your engineering. In my case is different. My case is different. When we say we submit materials, when we say we submit drawings for approvals, or likewise series of workers and whatever else we have to do on job, it should be well known to our engineer. Means this is well known to our engineers, but it's not well known to employers or to owners or those who are not directly linked to construction and coordination. We have to take that point into consideration while studying internationalism. Very important point. We cannot violate those guidelines. We cannot violate anything. Even though it's not mandatory, we cannot violate. And if we violate, then we have to get NCR, that we call non-compliance performance. So what I said, all these points that we discussed, in some way or other, technical or not technical, these must be emphasized to be implemented. Let's move a little further on context of organization. After all, what we think of, what we talk of, is that worth, is that real? We can say organization and its context require its understanding. We have to understand organization. We have to understand status of when we say organization, and we say its needs and expectation, what is scope of its organizer's scope, what is system. We have to consider various parts. We have to consider organization, why does it exist, is it required, or we have to identify issues which impact on organization itself. You can say there may be many parties, interested parties, they are required, there may be stakeholders, and there are stakeholders that So we are talking of something that we establish ourselves. We have to handle everything in practical way. When we say, okay, we have to consider all this, then we have to keep in mind complete picture of that. You cannot every time go and see, tell me about this chatter. I have been told once. That's all. Uh, in our home in India, near to home, say 10-15 kilometers. Right? We have to rely upon these documents that demand something to comply with, and we have to comply with that requirement. It's not easy, it's time consuming, not integral calculus. It's easy one for purpose of understanding, for purpose of clarity, and we have to, of course, write reports which I receive. So we have to one by one jump onto these requirements and understand them. We'll do it later. Now, what is the project chart we'd like to? This is an important point here in this context of organization. What does it mean? It means everything, from tender stage or bid stage to handover stage. It writes everything and what's happening on now. Also, it shall contain. It shall take care of that. We have these points which we have been very clear about. You know. Now, scope has already been covered. Scope has already been covered. It will contain everything. Ultimately, it depends on leads. It depends on lead. After all, who is leader? Who is you can say project leader? You can say who is the project leader, or maybe organizer. You may call leader. You may call manager. You may call whatever. That's not important issue. Important issue is role. What is role of that person? And role is always very significant from each and every point of view. If there exists no role, it doesn't work in. So we have to be little pragmatic in this regard. If we give regard to work, if leader is genuine, leader does not sleep much, thinks much, cares for job, how to do best in best possible manner. That is the role of leader. It's not, that role. It's active role. It's very light role. Policy decision is required, and we have to find ways how to chart out for smooth project execution and delivery to public or to state of our work. When there's relation on contract, it is contractual relation that is established between engineer and contractor or owner and contractor. Truly speaking, contractor, when a major project comes in, automatically various other contract conditions are involved, are imported for purpose of handling those issues that we're talking of. So we can say we must have a document for us, for our own guidance, for our own explanation, for our own reasons why we are moving further and why we are behind. This is for our internal approach, internal calculation, internal observation. You may say that charter which I'm talking about is kind of master tool. You can say master professional organization document for purpose of prosecution, for purpose of execution of whatever project during currency of contract and even thereafter, which details continue to, we can say, correspond to those time dates when project will be done. And of course various reasons are there. We cannot discuss everything here. I already discussed many points, but it's just a reflection of what we've done. After all, it is contract. Our purpose is to deliver this contract for a fixed price. Now that fixed price is suitable or unsuitable. Once you sign contract, it doesn't have any meaning, because your price, profit or whatever else contains or carries with it in details. We cannot just avoid our responsibility from that viewpoint. Price contains every aspect you had in mind. What you left, what you did not leave, it's all dependent on both. Charter defines future. Charter defines present. Charter is your own. It's not from some king, because you are your king for your work. What is organization then? Your organization, in fact, we can widen it. There may be organizations of government, organization your own, organization that is commercially registered as company or as a body. And we can say we consider ourselves living organization. We can consider ourselves, this depends on our capacity, our degree of performance, accurate performance. It depends on that. We cannot simply just blame ourselves. But until we have reputation, we have goodwill, we won't get even a quotation for learning or for using. It happens. Seriousness is very important. Every contractor should be serious as far as work is concerned. It's not necessary that what level of security, what level of security do we have? This doesn't happen. We have to understand all these documents very clearly. Don't be fooled what I'm saying. Means don't feel this is a very important point. We must have competent team. We must have competent professional. And for me, even workers, every worker is competent. Every worker is a part of profession. Because if they work, if workers do, for sure, name goes to non-work also. It's true, it is. So we can say we cannot waste our time. We have enough people. We have professionalism with us. We have technical knowledge, engineering knowledge, deciding factors, our routine, our regularity, punctuality, whatever you can say is required on contracts. Remember, contracts cannot be done by sleeping guys. We have to be very regular, punctual, if we want contract to be done safely according to requirement, and requirements must be met. Without meeting them, we shall face problems, and if we face problems, contract shall be jeopardized. As I said, every work is well done because it's well organized and supervised, and it is rubbishly done if neither thing happens, neither conditions to apply. It's not here that we are sitting for argument's sake, we are sitting for understanding what should be done. I again say, don't take contracting as entertainment. It is very serious issue because as a contractor you are paid for every price. Whatever price is spent is easy explain that. We have to build, we are not to destruct. To keep that part in mind, that point in mind, our job is development. Our job is building. We have a lot of responsibility when we come on to contract. There may be greenfield contract or brownfield contract, both are different. When there's a brownfield contract, we have to study a lot for existing one, for expansion of that, or some supplement of that. When it is greenfield, it's something free. You can say, even you will be given land to improve. It's not improved one. It's very small part of that, not going to know well. I mean, it will be very conservative or very modern, that we have to decide. I think combination of both is better. Sometimes, green fields are very competitive while green fields are not because of brown field means something adjusts. and maybe it exists, it doesn't have complete information. Whatever it is, contractor is an expert. Contractor means an expert entity which knows every ins and outs, every plus and minus of this project. That's why you say brownfield and greenfield are different terms. Hence, a greenfield or green project indicates land without any facility, without any existing facility, and just a piece of land at on shoreline, possibly, which we could you can say nearly yes, fish. So the point is we have to consider brownfield where project exists but extension is to be done. So there may be more complications in that case, and we can help it. Now, important points is designs. Important points are designs in APC because once designs are available, execution can be done by people who are experienced, and design is to be done by those who are experienced. We cannot simply copy paste. We cannot simply copy paste. We have to apply requirements, you have to apply contract demands. That is main purpose. And if you do not value it, it shall not value us. We can say when we do design, we must have a base. What we should do, we do not know. Design is unlimited. Whatever the boundaries, whatever limitations, whatever specific requirements, why should do more than that? We shall do exactly what is required. And what is required is, that is indicated by scope of work in contract document as well as by status of pre-one, existing one, what is sold, if it's failing, how it's failing, and what is correct point, correct requirement. Where to go to feed, which is front-end engineering design, which is basics of all designs, which is basics of everything, which is basics to understand, which is a direction, it's a guide, what is required, how it's required. I don't want to bore you on this. It's called front-end engineering design. It is actually a kind of dictionary, you can say, of reference. You can find for each design item, maybe some specific point is applicable. So once we understand feed, its requirements and scope, we can say yes, we have got through basics, we have got through fundamentals, and don't forget that this feed is also done by experienced engineers. This is not done by students. This is not done by very budding engineers, but those who have very vast experience, broad experience in the respective field. Designs may have options, but best options must be applied with. It becomes duty of EPC contractor then to have complete study of field as well as its contents and then work on designs. Design should be based on clarity, complete clarity. And design means, it means you have to understand, it's first priority. What do you want? What does engineer want? It's not necessary to meet that person automatically. We have to see ourselves, how best we can move, and that's only way of justification, how to handle it. The role comes to leadership actually. Leadership, that's a very important role in EPC. Leaders in EPC is quite different than leaders in construction. It is EPC. Here, design is first requirement, while construction is other requirement, a contractor. What should I do as a leader? I have been appointed head of, if you can say, head, long mistake here, long work. Leader in APC means a big person. First, leadership should be checked for a building project. Design and construction and leader of EPC. Well, I think it's very important terminology. Very important terminology it is. Because it is EPC. It's great. Cannot be taken for granted. Leaders should be very well educated in this case. Educated by experience, educated by qualification, academics. And on top of that, must have experience. Must have real experience. It's not simple experience, but real experience one should have. Lead experience, you can say. When it's EPC means you have to lead your client as well. You have to lead your representative, sectional representative. You should have logical working capacity, working style, lead. You should chart out his procedure. This leader must know total project. This leader must know what is to be done. You can say a complete analysis should be conducted by leadership. Again, I come to that point of analysis which we discuss every time. Without knowing completeness, issue of if our leader is real leader, there's no problem in project. because leader knows what is to be done. Maybe I don't know, possibly. I don't know, maybe I know. Both situations can come up, right? But it should be well known and well known. Nothing can be taken for granted. Some of you, some of you may say, some of you may say that I am talking excessively. You may say that. You may say that, no problem. You see, it's not talking, I think, understanding. If I talk at length sometimes, I talk so that I also review myself. I have not written any script. I should also enjoy revision. I also enjoy refreshing along with you people. It's not film that we are talking about. It's not drama. It's something we're talking about projects. It's something we're talking about that's going to work for coming decades, and how many changes may occur in those coming times. That's very long period. I am for that long period. If you just spend a few days or few hours to have good understanding, clarity, even during designs, changes are conducted. Because during design we try to say, this is not what was intended for. This is not what was planned for. But it's not my requirement. It's something different. So that can be taken care of. You see, when films are made, when entertaining films are made, maybe the film is only for 2.5 hours display, but it takes maybe a couple of years. And we talk of hours together. But here we're talking of something that will work for a couple of decades to come. And that is realistic. That is not hypothetical. Films are hypothetical. There's no output. There's no development. We're talking to change lives of millions, whole world, you can say, by our designs and our organization to work on that. So here is a different kind of leadership required. This is multi-level leadership. This leadership is extensive. It thinks in integrated form, lot to happen. So we cannot equate this leadership to ordinary leadership. This is self-leading for self-goal, and that self-goal is project delivery. If we make mistakes in designs or in construction, particularly for very strong items, very significant items, like you can say, as you said, concrete or steel, which if you use once, you cannot use them again. Such strong items these are, though these are strong in terms of their real use in combinations to each other, composite material. Just like we can say, when you do concrete, mixing of concrete, it doesn't take much time, but once it is ready to perform, means it's hardened, it's got complete strength, it takes its life more than maybe designer's life. It moves along with that strength for longer and longer, for longer and longer. That's also true. So we have to keep this point in mind that if you want to develop at length, if you want to produce something that's worked for 50 years or 100 years, it's something unique, extraordinary. You cannot simply consider as a project only. It may be a project for me as a designer, but it's a permanent existence. No bomb is, you know what does mean? Well, sometimes leadership, I can say, should be very serious, thoughtful. Leadership does not have place, just waste time. And that is engineering leadership. I'm not talking political leadership or business leadership who never for never care for us. I'm trying to explain leadership. This means lead. Lead whom? You have to lead project. You have to lead workers. You have to lead machines. You have to lead material. You have to lead budget. You have to lead even your consultant. You have to lead engineer as well if you can. That much requires money. Okay. You don't want to lead, you just want to avail this policy. Let me say that. It is an objective, fixed objective. That objective cannot be taken for granted, right? We have to worry of that. We have to worry about that. Means we must have a visionary approach. Person, whoever is leader, must have vision. And that vision is not that may be hypothetical for time being, but that vision pushes, or you can say signals leader to go to one direction. From where that vision exists somewhere near. Once my role as leader is clear, I think project is clear, analysis I have, problems I have, clarifications are required. And because I have to do design, many problems I can solve, but again approval is required. And once that design is well coordinated, completely curves. Let's go further. What leaders should do, not do. We talked of construction methods before. It's not only construction that requires methods, it's every aspect. It is all sections required methods, safety, quality, planning, wherever you are, requires something. Subcontext methods, context methods, all methods. I'm not saying you write methods only. Methods are written for communication purpose. If you know what's to be done, it is to be done, that's it. But for organizational purpose, for approval purpose, for documentation purpose, this is all required. And it's done. Once you have to do, second time it shall be done by others. It's of course mandatory that it is to be done. It is to be done. But there are some methods which are not like we do. Maybe those are done in mind. And calculation right is not very difficult. It's easy one. Leader has to chart out each and every way of doing something. Method of thinking, method of organizing, method of procurement, method of negotiations, method of submission. I'm not saying statements, but at least method. How to arrange resources in best possible manner. How to use resources. How to use leaders in human resources. You know, it's like total direction. Total direction, we can say, just like total quality, total direction can be given. Again we say direction, it is an electrical plug or socket. It means something that's to be given. Very reasonably, perfectly, in the best possible manner. Leadership is owned by, here we can say, in current responsibilities, according to IS 9015, 2015, 9001 2015, responsibilities have been given to leadership. Previously, it was not well defined. But quality system used to think that it's only quality that takes role. But now it's a little different. Leadership is responsible. Leadership. We have to consider that point very, very seriously. Leadership role cannot be taken for granted in that way. Because quality system mandates that leader is also responsible to an extent that discipline leader is responsible. Here you are leader of all disciplines. That is one is meant by leadership. Quality representative is not that responsible now as organizational leader is. So leadership has been given more powers. Handle. And this applies to all systems. We cannot depend exclusively on someone. Leader is a total disciplinary person, totally responsible, totally supportive. So here in EPC, leadership is a designer. Leadership is execution person. Leadership is a contractual person. Leadership here is a good coordinator, good, if something cannot be dispensed with. And leadership should have that quality. I don't say that leadership should have that discipline and knowledge. You have disciplined people with you. You have to direct them, you have to interact with them, they have to interact with you to find best way how to do best design, which design must meet feed and input, or you can say away part B. Very nice. Responsibility never comes singly, remember. Responsibility brings problems also. Responsibility brings fruits also. Responsibility brings powers also. So responsibility, as much as you share, you will be the biggest person. Those who can't share responsibilities, they cannot call themselves leaders, and leaders means responsibility in fact. I will define, if somebody asks me to define leadership, I'll say responsibility plus responsibility plus responsibility plus responsibility. So if you are having many responsibilities, you are bigger leader. You are elevating yourself. You elevate yourself. I cannot stick to one point. This is my timing of work. I have to do this, and that's my leadership. That is only opportunity. That's only Vishwas. You are building each other. We have to amalgamate ourselves. We have to mix up ourselves like that one. Can we have, before understanding its priority, let us define ourselves once again. Leader means a visionary professional person who can understand very well present, immediate, and long lead state of affairs and impacts on projects. Leader must know methodology of every activity, and if that is missed or delayed, about what adverse results whatever results mistake shall bring to project. Leader does not necessarily require running project details, but has to keep surveillance on whole project to know about how to achieve more and more progress to expedite all operations or reaching all milestones. Leaders should arrange all resources to working management organization prior to its defined or appointed date and schedule to arrive on site so that work could be fast tracked. Leader is required to induct enthusiasm into all staff levels and workforce to enable all working on project think that they belong to this project irrespective of status of their employment with whatever organization. Once leader is successful in convincing that project belongs to all, that all should take pride in working on project and use it as a credential on respective career enrichment and career own rest for person. Leader is required to induct enthusiasm into all staff and workforce to enable all working on project think that they belong to this project irrespective of status of their employment with whatever organization. Once leader is successful in convincing that project belongs to all and that all should take pride in working on project and use it as a credential on respective career enrichment, all staff and workforce could contribute their best efforts to project, and you can say which state would benefit all parties involved. Leader belonging to both company and prime contractor are required and expected to work very closely as integrated to project organization, which cooperation would bring project execution and prosecution of all activities in all directions to a successful completion or conclusion. Leaders must enjoy trust of top management, top organization, or top or management. Yes, in fact, we can say leaders must enjoy trust of top people and organization. ISO 9001-2015 has extended greater responsibility and role as well as accountability of leaders, who have in fact been virtually elevated to share quality system in all respects. Since leaders cannot locate themselves to footboard of senior manager only, leaving entire responsibility to quality agent or quality representative of organization. In fact, quality representative term has been eliminated from purview of quality system. ISO 9001 2015. Now leaders can say now leaders are virtually designated owners of to effectively manage quality system in all organizations, which means that every senior manager or system designated leader has to work in collaboration with all middle and lower organization personnel for accountability towards quality system performance. This means leaders must apply additional efforts by stretching working hours. If processes are not carried out during formal normal working hours, quality divisions are now required for defined purpose as all other divisions only do, and they would carry out respective work allocation in routine briefing, pricing leaders of whatever achievement or work status. So quality divisions are now required for defined purposes, all other divisions only do, and they would carry out respective work allocations in routine briefing, apprising leaders of whatever achievement or work status. This means that status and responsibilities ascribed on leaders and quality personnel have drastically been altered under ISO 9001-2015 to an extent that leaders cannot escape lead accountability when some account or non-compliance is reported. All divisions, partners in all organizations involved on project are head and leaders to their respective sections, such as pre-design, designs, estimation, contracting, planning, purchasing, execution, safety, quality, site controls, engineering, services, contracts, valuation and approvals. You may say policy devised by top management. Let me give a few minutes, please. I'll be back. A few minutes. welcome back. Leadership continues, and it's very strong statement I try to make, but sometimes it is delayed due to whatever reason, and it's really surprising that I'm happy I'm able to do something for that cause, and I'm not able to find. Still, the surprising. I don't know what Facebook is doing. You see timings. I'm not able to see how many minutes have gone. I cannot control timings. Is there? Everything is grey. Timing is not able to be controlled. I don't know what they are doing really. Why they keep on changing everything like this? Public share the story. Title is not seen clearly, and it is like as if something is very different here. Well, it's up to them. It's their forum. It's not in my hands. But changing like this, it doesn't help anybody. Title optional, story, and how many minutes have been over. It's not given anywhere. Well, sorry for that, but I had no. Well, let's continue our way. No use of arguing. We are talking of quality system. We are talking of something that is related to quality, and quality is very important. And the quality, I don't know what's happening. It's impacting everywhere, and it should not impact. It's impacting everywhere. This is my name plate, you can say, just for refreshing in between. This is nameplate that is used. No problem, it's normal. I put in both languages, something for nation also, like in Hindi, though English is main, just for those. Some people say that I don't use Hindi language, so I translated something only. Leadership is very important on projects. It's very important. I say policy devised by top management, as I said before. Let us say I stopped somewhere here, I think. This means that status and responsibilities described on leaders and quality personnel have drastically been altered under new ISO 9001. All divisions, partners, and all organizations involved projects are heads and leaders to their respective sections, such as pre-designs, designs, estimation, contracting, planning, purchasing, execution, safety, quality, site controls, engineering services, contract valuation and approvals. Policy devised by top leaders is that design work should be done right first time every time. First time every time, keeping in considerations all designs and engineering factors in all respects, as directed by FEED. While site work as well as should be done right first time every time, avoiding reworks to a maximum extent possible. Though it has been experienced that many reworks are carried out on various facilities, construction sites due to various reasons involved. Site work should be allotted to right competent persons only, and if right person is not available for certain specific job, either training should be given to personnel involved or work should be outsourced officially in form of subcontract. Work should be effected error-free or defect-free in scheduled time with required degree of competency and acceptable compliance. Required attempt has to be made to do all works error-free or defect-free to a maximum extent feasible. Organization has devised various levels of positions such as top level, middle level, and detailed levels. Top management contributors are leaders in themselves to direct self and guide all others located on site and office. They require to provide visions to site organization. They require to keep all personnel, all times motivated so that continuity of personal and good practice work is maintained on site with smooth motion of operations to achieve all milestones. Leaders needs ensure that policy of organization is always effective and consistently its objectives are achieved in all cases. They need not involve directly with details but involve with by surveillance of all works of execution, prosecution, and whatever or wherever and whenever they should extend support to required personnel as and when lack on promptness. Progress is visible. They need to make sure that human and other resources required to meet site working operations are operations are available all times as and when necessary, either directly or through subcontractor as case may be. They need to make sure that prime contractor mobilized all resources requirements in line to contract and project schedule. They need to ensure that all contractors, personnel at all levels know about respective job description activities which must be presented, produced, and descriptive writing be updated from time to time depending on newer projects or due to added responsibilities. Leaders have to, in all cases, all times, ensure that devised organization system is well monitored, reviewed, evaluated, and necessary improvement is inducted as and when required. They should ensure that all necessary information regarding system organization is communicated to all personnel as and when necessary. Such communication making is essential. Leaders need to ensure that all clients or prospective owners as well as are well aware that organization has been complying with NEVA requirements and duly updated so that it be easier to participate in NEVA bids to organize building works. Construction organization requires construction organization management requires to conduct schedule audit schedule audit on contract progress to an extent contract site organization is concerned. Construction organizations ensure that monthly or scheduled payment is raised in form of valuation statement by contractor in process when due and after its evaluation and secure scrutiny by engineer. Approved payment certificates are received from company owner engineer. Construction organization make sure to submit all reports to its leaders in its corporate or head office where whenever due so that real achievement and status of contract remains known to them and information circulated to designated key personnel. All such significant project status reporting requires to be moved further upwards, all stakeholders included on project charter. Leaders leaders have to make leaders have to make sure that safety mock drills are conducted regularly for all personnel working on project site and offices on site located on site so that during whatever emergency say fire breakout all occupants would leave their locations at once and budge of siren and collect at respective head count locations. Leader has to make sure that all personnel are imparted safety related training regularly. All personnel imparted with safety related training regularly. Leader has to make sure that all personnel are imparted with job training about work personnel carry out at some point of time so that newer technologies are understood for prosecution. Leadership has to ensure that welfare of project personnel is being conducted by project administration throughout currency of project execution. Leadership has to ensure that all workers and staff are paid their respective salaries in time when due. And so many more points are there. I have written here only few. These are principal points. These are principal points. Principal points can say we can start. These are very elementary requirements. Leadership can be successful only if leadership cares about its resources, care about human resources, care about machines, care about contract, care about works, care about everything that demands something. It's not a question that you have to do it in 1 minute. Maybe some fresh engineers, some engineers on move feel that so many responsibilities, so many obligations. It's very big, it's very voluminous. How can we do like this? Their question is logical, indeed. Nevertheless, they have to think differently, just like when they joined university, they read their syllabus. Oh, so many subjects, 40 subjects, so much in one subject, and it could cause panic to them. But they should also keep in considerations 4 or 5 years period to learn those subjects. If you have say 4 years period, 48 months period to learn those 40 subjects of 35 subjects, you may require one, you may have 1 month or 1.5 months for one subject like this as 1 month. And 1 month you can know a lot about one subject if you continuously read heaps 8 hours study a day in 30 days, 200 or more than 20, 40 hours you have. So I don't think there's some book which cannot do in 48 hours continuously read that. Same thing on site, on project. A project may be 2 years, or 1 year, or 3 years, or 4 years. And there is so much, but once you start something, it's not mathematical requirements, not integral calculus or trigonometry that you have to think a lot on that. You have to understand problem one time, and second time you will solve it so easily without even referring to previous time. It depends on your capability and dynamism, how much you can think, how much you can talk, how much you can understand problems, of what's value of your budget, how much can you spend on something. Depends upon that. Means you are there all time, you are among people, you are among material. I don't think it's a big problem. And moreover, you have staff also with you, you have workers with you, means they will work for you and you're just going to supervise them and you're going to arrange material for them, material machines for them, answers for them. You should not forget that you're not alone, you're not one person there. Every worker is important for projects. Every worker is a contributor on projects. Those are responsible. You are just supervising them, but you have to understand clearly what to do. If you are able to pass instructions to them in time when it's required, I think that's a successful work, and that's due to communication. This we have to keep in mind. We have to keep advanced planning for that. That's important. Once not that, so you cannot understand that. Just like we could 1 week at once, 2 week at once, or day 2 day. Means no activity is done in 1 minute or 1 hour or 1 day. In construction, activities go on and on for days. Hardly there is some activity which can be completed one day. You start today, it's completed. There's nothing as such. Particularly on construction projects, if I'm just talking of that, there's no artificial access. Means one activity may go for 1 week. For example, slab activity may go for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Same execution activity may go for a couple of days, while foundations may be a couple of days. So it's not that you just started, you've gone through this, you have enough time to understand that activity, do it. So don't be panic. Don't be in panic. It's a kind of planning which I'm going to jump onto now. Planning will continue. Now we are talking about leadership, and actually leadership means planning also. Leadership means understanding scope, understanding references, understanding norms, understanding reference systems and conditions, understanding, you can say, context of organization, understanding organization. The site itself is organization. It's not necessary that your office is only organization. Site is also a major organization for purpose of project. So understanding context of organization means context of site. If you understand context of site, context means not geography or not structure, but responsibility. You are an engineer, they are representative of contracting company, or not representative, but involved in certain sections of that site. It's your responsibility, it's your duty. If you have agreed for that work, you try to take care of this job description, this role. You need to understand role. To understand role cannot be understood in few lines. You cannot simply say, I have got my job description, I understand that. In construction, every activity is different, every job is different, every discipline is different. Until you experience it by doing it, by commanding it, you cannot really understand what that job is. Just weaving at site, I can do it. Yes, you may do it if you have done it before. Otherwise, you have to learn it. It happens, sometimes in wrong conception. Some people think site work is very easy. Some people think that. And I think I would say engineering is easy. That is my conception. And nothing is easy, nothing is difficult. It's your interest. If you are interested in designs, you think design is good. If somebody is interested in work on site is good. There's no hard and fast formula that can be testified to decide which work is better. Again, I say it is your interest. Engineering exists everywhere, in designs, in construction, in manufacturing, in planning, in quality, in safety. It exists everywhere. Now, how do you access that is a question mark. How do I exist in design? That's not a problematic question to answer. As I said, experience activity. When you are on site, you have to experience activity of leadership. You have to watch, you have to observe maybe. So for example, some machine is in operation. You have to observe it for a couple of minutes. Yeah, whatever machine, maybe 10 machines you deal with, not more than that. Probably 10 machines, heavy machines or light machines, 15 machines. You can just see how many minutes it takes in one rotation, or how many minutes it takes for a crane to shift, to raise one load from ground to upper level. Same way, how much time it takes for a mixer to or a pump to orient itself on site. It's called operation time study. And this study, if you make once or twice or thrice, you can just extrapolate or interpolate that one. That's not big deal, except there is some specific requirement. Same way, when you use concrete by skip, you pour concrete using a skip. You can see, of course, you may be using tower crane or mobile crane. How many minutes it takes means there are some standards, and there are such standards, some are not. Just like you say, time study we can do. Same way, it's not machine alone. It is workers. How do they do it? How they work? What is their efficiency? Means when you experience once, twice, thrice, you shall have your own statistics based on which you can plan. Maybe you mean to say, I mean to say that you have to observe there on site work culture. It is called work culture. How do we work? It's not necessary what's given in books is right. It's not necessary. That depends on, but now times have changed. Machine is important. So we can say work culture requirement, material delivery requirement. Once you understand these for a couple of months or a couple of years, then you will have added knowledge of virtual work. Means you will raise questions yourself and you shall answer yourself. There can be no equivalent to that substitution. Substitution, I mean to say, is a requirement. Substitution, I mean to say, that's an answer you have to give. That is an answer you have to give to yourself. And for this work, you have to pay some attention. You have to devote some time, once, twice in your life career. And once you enrich yourself with that requirement, maybe it varies little, you can say in deviation, from one project to another project, but ultimately overall picture remains same. So this way you can say, if you study like that, generally important activities which are very significant from planning viewpoint, you can say, means there are some items that cannot be measured like this, cannot be observed, but majority of items which are done on site directly can be studied. Sometimes there are different actions which cannot be otherwise done, that can take more time. Instantly it can be 1 hour, 2 hour activity, but otherwise, and in emergency also sometimes you have to resort to that one. It will look that it's very heavy, but it doesn't. It's okay, fine. You have to be in multitude of experience of that. We can say we can constitute basis of planning for that. It's kind of basis of planning, planning basics, planning fundamentals. If we move to planning, we can say that we can work on planning if we adopt that policy. And that is wonderful if you can do planning like that. That's why it's very, very important. And once we adopt a policy of planning, we can control ourselves. It doesn't matter, you should refer to some book. If you have your own statistics, you can see that. How much a crane can work, what's its capacity, how much one carpenter can produce one item of shuttering. It may be making of shutters, or it may be, how much steel can be cut and bent by one steel fixers. How many blocks of concrete or brickworks, how many bricks one mason can place at different locations. Means you can collect actual data rather than depending on some book knowledge, because book knowledge is not done by those, they collected some information from somewhere. But when on site, you are a real watcher, you are output watcher, you watch it and do it, and that's the important one. So we have to watch it accordingly. Means if I am able to watch what's happening on site, how it happens, I can understand work culture. It's nothing big problem and can give me support in my planning. Because planning is based on output of your people, and that's called work culture. If your people are sincere, your supervisors are sincere, they want to help you, they want to do their job successfully without any additional interest. Means to they are devoted truly to work because they are paid and they want satisfaction of work. We can collect information from site itself, and that shall be best place to know about because they would work. Maybe output is not to your book book specification, book indication, but it is real one. It includes waste of time, it includes action time, it also includes different nationality performance, it also includes culture and so many other points that are included on that. And we can collect such average data depending on many factors. That would help not only your right budgeting or right costing, it shall also help in doing many acts. Analysis of rates you can reconstitute, you can check. Material wastage you can check because theoretically what is given is not necessarily right. You can reform your own way so that your planning is better than before. I don't trust what's given on books, first of all, because we know books are written by authors who did not have any experience in field. Collection of data is not book. That is just for learning purpose, not for resource. I consider some book which is a resource, which can be used. That resource and that book both are different. Book is taxed, but resource is not taxed. Resource is competent body. Resource is something which I can use every time and I can make an amendment to that. It is no meaning if I say, oh, one day we can do 0.4 square meter of shutter, 0.5 square. What does it mean? It doesn't mean anything because different types of activities are involved. Scaffolding system, supporting scaffolding. You have to count that output. How can you do that? Only by observation. Because there are so many items are involved in every activity. We have to understand those items. You have to analyze them. It's not in one yardstick we can say, okay, just take 1 square meter of formwork system and it will take so many hours. No, that can't be. We have to study it on site. Let us say 100 square meter of shutters we have taken. How many days it took to install that, to erect that, or how many days it took to de-shutter that or remove that. You have to do some work on site. This is called time study. And once you have to do that, if you cannot remember it, you have to deploy some person for this purpose. There are so many persons. But we have to see total number of hours on that. Total numbers of hours of that crew on that activity from this to that. From this start or this stage to that. And once we know total number of hours of that, we can find number of hours that would be required to do that activity, and we can then find out from that in terms of volumes or in terms of square meter or in terms of height. It's just an example I'm giving you, and that can be used as formula. So that can be used as a formula, and that formula is far more weight, has far more weight. then theoretically what we use? Oh. We just consider in planning actions to address risks and opportunities. Actions to address risks and avail opportunities. We have opportunity to understand culture, and that is work culture, not racial culture or religious culture or geographical culture. Work is same all over world. There is no difference in that. Yes, there can be environment difference, there can be weather difference, there can be some standards difference, but work is same. Concrete is same all over world, block work is same all over world, foundation is same all over world, RCC is same, structure is the same. There is no difference. So we can use our knowledge wherever it can be used. Management objectives and planning to achieve these objectives. We need a way, an organization, and that organization is led by you on your side. That is root work, that is basic work, fundamental work. There is no substitution to that because it's kind of technical work, it's kind of elementary work that we have to do and devise it accordingly. We can say, as we said, risks and opportunities. We did not have a program, we did not have data. We used some imaginary data, fictitious data, but now we have some reliable data. So we can do better planning, and this is given by your own leadership capability. And this leadership is different. It's not same as you thought of, it's entirely different. We have to understand that point of view. We'll take up this issue of planning in next talk. My intention has been to explore leadership first at every level. Leadership at top level, leadership at work level, leadership at plan level, and leadership at every level where we can use leadership as an intellectualism tool. Because if leaders are not intellectuals, I cannot call them leaders because they can lead none. It's not leadership here for votes. It's leadership here for realization of work. We cannot commit anything that we cannot do. Leaders in profession cannot do something that cannot be done. Without having complete knowledge, we cannot do anything. Product cannot be done if complete ingredients are not available, complete process technology is not available. Same applies to every branch of engineering. That's what I say. Engineering is different. It's different. It cannot be compared to everything. Cannot compare to that. Leadership development means project development and real development. Everybody who works on responsibility, accountability, obligation, seriousness, respects materials, resources, every because it's money and it's natural. That person can develop leadership, better leadership, leadership that speaks to all, checks on, audits on that leadership. And this leadership is different. It's really ship of to lead to where we do not know. The point we must understand explicitly if you want to develop something, because it is quality. Again I say, it is quality that is required, it is professionalism that is required, it's quality that is required, and it is leadership that's required. And I think we should now think of talking in future. I thought that I would like to express my views for leadership, because an engineer itself is a leader. If a person being an engineer cannot lead self, how can that person lead others? Once you lead yourself, you try to check whether you are analyst or you are not analyst. If you are not analyst, then you cannot be leader. First requirement of being leader is analyst, which means you have to realize what problem is, how to handle that problem. That is first requirement of leadership. Then other requirements crop in. We have to be very factual, very fair in this regard. I think you got my message. There is no rank in leadership. There is no limit in leadership. Even if you are not given leadership, you can make yourself leader, because you have mind. You can use that mind, and use of mind for either construction or for destruction. Both can be named leadership. Construction is always preferred because it makes, while destruction is not preferred because it distracts. Everybody has to construct if destruction is not required. Destruction nobody accepts, except where something has to go due to time or due to whatever other reason. This point we have to understand very clearly, and if we can understand this point, I think we have gone halfway. This I tried to take time for AnnexSL in this silver, because it's very important, and we will close it now for next time. Thank you very much.